So your channel's all set up and ready to go, your branding's looking good, and you've had to think about your overall keyword strategy and some different things you can aim for, but where do you actually start? So it depends on what you want to target first, whether you're wanting to just put your work into some slideshow videos and help your work be found by clients, or whether you want to gain some traffic and raise your brand awareness first. So it depends really where you are. If you're a new business, then you might want to aim for gaining the traffic. If you are an established business, then you might want to start off with making slideshow videos to share your work. There's a few things to be looking out for though. So let me just use the search function and make this a little bit smaller. So you see up at the top of the screen here, we've got a search bar, and underneath we've got the same figures that Keywords Everywhere plugin brings into the Google search as well. So just to talk through what these are, the volume is your monthly search volume. The higher the better. CPC stands for cost per click. So if you were going to run an AdWords campaign, that would be the average cost per click. The competition is a score out of 1. So if you imagine 1 being 100, 9 would be 9%. Now, when you're on YouTube, really you have a global audience. So if you were maybe targeting local venues with a blog post, then you would be kind of restricted to that local audience or local users of people that were going to be potentially looking to get married at that venue. If you're a newborn photographer and you're optimizing your blog, you really want to be optimizing it for a local audience. But when we're talking about things like sharing your expertise, sharing tutorials or time-saving hacks, really you have access to a global audience. So you're going to see the difference in volume. And this is something that can really influence the traffic and the visitor numbers on your site in a really good way. So let's just type in the word photography, for example. When I type that in, you'll see the list populates with lots of suggested ideas. Photography tips, 1,000 searches a month. Photography hacks, it's 140 searches a month. And photography for beginners, there's a few other bits and pieces on there. So if we go over to Keywords Everywhere, you'll see that there's different settings for different countries. So if we look at United States, for example, so when you change this, it's best just to refresh the page. So you'll see the volume goes way up. So having a channel online means that you've got access to a global audience. So when this is the US, what you can also do is change it to the global setting. And I would recommend you use the global setting for your online kind of more generic videos, and you use your country setting for the videos that you're making that are going to target a local audience. And that will give you a bit of a temperature check in relation to your potential visitor numbers there. So you see photography, when you look at the global search, you've got 673,000 searches a month, which is fairly awesome, really. And when we look at photography tips, there's 14,800 searches a month. And the competition isn't actually that high, really, in the grand scheme of things. Not when you compare it to maybe like your city wedding photographer or newborn photographer for a city. Your photography hacks, let's see, 2,900 searches a month, and look how low the competition is, 0.01. So really, as you can see, this is a real opportunity for you to be able to gain a load of traffic by sharing your expertise, by sharing your passion, something that interests you, and also helping people as well. And it's something that's going to really just raise the brand mentions, and ideally you'll have videos where you're having conversations with people online. So if you're a fairly new brand and you're looking to kind of gain some traffic to your site, then I think this would be a great way to start that. Alternatively, you can use your existing work and create slideshow videos. So let's imagine you are a US-based newborn photographer. So we'll set this to United States. Remember just to click refresh when you change country. I'm going to just type in newborn photography. So what we'll see here is that in the US, newborn photography has 27,100 searches a month. And there's quite a few people looking for tutorials and posing. Now, I would really recommend that you aim for more than 100 searches. Really, you want a kind of reasonable amount of volume. If you're going to go to all the trouble of making a video and kind of optimizing that video, then you want to make sure that there's a reasonable amount of traffic that are going to find that video. So maybe instead of newborn photography tutorial, you could aim for posing instead. You could talk about posing. Or you could have newborn photography posing, a tutorial for photographers, and then you're building 2 keywords into one, which will increase the overall search volume. So we'll be talking about optimizing videos in a later lesson, but I would really, as a ballpark, you want to be aiming for more than 100 searches a month in terms of volume. Now, let's just look at another example for wedding photographers. So let's just change this to the UK. Hit refresh again. And we're going to aim for, or we're going to look at Eves Hall. So this is a popular wedding venue that has quite a lot of annual weddings. And I would recommend doing some research to find out what the search volume is. So Eves Hall Wedding has come up as a suggestion right away. And it's an exclusive venue, so it doesn't really do too much else there. So 480 searches a month is absolutely worthwhile as putting a video together for that if that was a venue that we wanted to target. However, if we look at another venue that's maybe a little bit quieter, so you'll see this is 170 searches a month. So it's far fewer searches. It's also less competitive though. So it's worth having a look at the venues that you are thinking that you might want to shoot at or that you've already shot at, and focusing your energy on the keywords that have got a higher volume, so you're going to get the maximum return for that time spent invested in making your video.